Love is not a fairy tale. It is not destiny. And it is certainly not magic. Love is a chemical script running on the hardware of the human brain. It is a cocktail of dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin that evolved to ensure survival. Most people are passive passengers in their romantic lives. They wait for the spark. They hope to be chosen. They pray for affection. They are playing the lottery. But the dangerous individual does not play the lottery. He rigs the machine. He understands that attraction is not a choice, it is a biological reaction to specific stimuli. If you know the code, you can execute the program. You can take a person who is indifferent to you and turn them into someone who checks their phone every 30 seconds to see if you have messaged. We are not talking about simple dating advice here. We are talking about the architecture of obsession. We are going to deconstruct the 7 psychological laws that bypass logic and hack the emotional centers of the target. By the end of this transmission, you will know how to become an addiction. Welcome to the art of capture. Welcome to Cobalt State X. The first law of obsession is intermittent reinforcement, also known as the push-pull dynamic. This is the single most powerful principle in behavioral psychology. It is the same mechanic that makes slot machines addictive. If a slot machine gave you money every time you pulled the lever, you would get bored. If it never gave you money, you would walk away. But because it gives you a win unpredictably, sometimes yes, sometimes no, your brain releases massive spikes of dopamine. You become hooked on the chase. In relationships, consistency is boring. Predictability kills desire. To create obsession, you must be warm, and then cold. You must be available, and then distant. You give them intense attention, making them feel like the center of the universe, the pull. Then, for no apparent reason, you pull back. You reply slower. You become busy, the push. This creates anxiety in their brain. They start asking, what did I do wrong? They work harder to win back your validation. And when you finally give it to them again, the relief feels like euphoria. You are not being mean, you are being variable. You are turning yourself into the prize that must be won over and over again. The second law is the Zeigarnik effect, or the power of the unfinished loop. Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik discovered that the human brain remembers unfinished tasks twice as well as finished ones. We crave closure. We hate mystery. Most people destroy attraction by being an open book. On the first date, they tell their whole life story. They reveal their feelings. They close the loop. The game is over before it began. To cultivate obsession, you must be a puzzle with missing pieces. Never tell the whole story. End conversations first. Leave dates while the energy is still high. When they ask about your past, give vague answers. By withholding information, you force their brain to think about you when you are not there. They will try to fill in the blanks. They will construct a fantasy version of you in their mind. And the more they think about you, the more they invest in you. You are occupying real estate in their head rent-free. The third law is triangular desire, or pre-selection. Humans are mimetic creatures. We want what other people want. If you walk into a room and nobody pays attention to you, you have low value. If you walk in and you are surrounded by people vying for your attention, your value skyrockets instantly. You must never appear to be alone or desperate. Even if you are single, you must project the aura that you are in demand. This is not about cheating. It is about subtle signaling. Mention other people in your stories. Have a social life that does not include them. When your target realizes that they have competition, even imaginary competition, their instinct to win kicks in. Jealousy is a potent form of arousal. It confirms that you are a high-value asset. Without the threat of loss, there can be no intensity of desire. The fourth law is the Benjamin Franklin effect. This is a counterintuitive hack. Common sense tells us that if we want someone to like us, we should do favors for them. But psychology proves the opposite. We like people we do favors for. When you do something for someone, your brain justifies the effort by telling you, I must like this person, otherwise I wouldn't be helping them. This is cognitive dissonance. So, stop trying to buy their affection with gifts and favors. Instead, ask them to invest in you. Ask for small favors. Ask them to hold your drink. Ask them for advice. Ask them to drive. The more effort they invest in you, the more valuable you become to them. It is the sunk cost fallacy. They cannot walk away because they have already invested too much energy into the interaction. The fifth law is future pacing, or the shared fantasy. Obsession lives in the future, not the present. To bind someone to you, you must insert yourself into their timeline. Casual comments are the weapon here. We should go to that concert next month. You would love this place I know in Italy, we have to go someday. You are not making a promise, you are planting a seed. Even if you have only known them for a week, these projections force their brain to visualize a future with you. Once they imagine it, they subconsciously commit to it. You become a part of their narrative. Losing you becomes losing that future. It creates a sense of destiny that is purely manufactured. The sixth law is the vacuum, or the gift of absence. The poet Rumi said, burning with longing fire, I want to be. You cannot desire what is already in your pocket. You can only desire what is missing. In the modern world, people are hyperconnected. They text all day. They are always available. This suffocates attraction. You must create a vacuum. You must have periods where you go dark. No texts. No social media. Complete radio silence. In this silence, their imagination goes wild. They wonder where you are. They wonder who you are with. They begin to miss you. And in that space of missing you, they realize how much they need you. Absence is not emptiness, it is a presence. Use it to reset the dynamic whenever you feel them taking you for granted. The seventh law is emotional contagion, or state control. Research shows that in any interaction, the person with the strongest reality wins. Emotions are contagious. If you are nervous, they will feel nervous. If you are needy, they will feel repulsed. But if you are amused, relaxed, and dominant, they will enter your state. This is why being cool is attractive. It is emotional stability. You must become the source of good emotions. When they are with you, it should feel like an escape from their boring life. Be unpredictable. Be spontaneous. Be dangerous. But crucially, do not become addicted to their emotions. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the temperature, you do not reflect it. When they associate the feeling of adrenaline and dopamine specifically with your presence, you have won. You have become their drug. Applying these laws requires discipline. Your instinct will be to chase. Your instinct will be to be nice, to be available, to lock it down. You must kill that instinct. Obsession is a fire. If you smother it with too much attention, it dies. If you neglect it completely, it dies. You must feed it air. You must manage the distance. Understand this, you are not doing this to hurt them. You are doing this to elevate the experience. People want to be swept away. They want to feel the intensity of the chase. They want the movie. By becoming the director of the movie, you give them the greatest gift of all, an escape from the mundane. However, a warning. These techniques create deep attachments. Do not use them on someone you do not intend to keep. Breaking a heart that you deliberately rewired is a debt that the universe will eventually collect. Use this power with precision. If you are ready to master the darker arts of human connection and influence, verify your commitment. Subscribe to the channel. The archive is growing. The weak are leaving. The strong are evolving. This is Cobalt State X, and a file.